Hello, my amazing students. Today, you are going to learn all the vocabulary and grammar you need to talk about your hobbies. And you'll also learn how to ask other people about their hobbies as well. Welcome back to JForrest English. Of course, I'm Jennifer. Now let's get started. First, let's review the most common verbs of preference that you need to talk about hobbies. Like, enjoy, love, and adore. Adore sounds even stronger than love. Now remember, with your verb of preference, the next verb needs to be in the gerund form, the verb with ing. I like, and now we need a hobby. I like reading fiction. So like plus gerund verb. Now, although native speakers don't always follow this rule, for certain verbs of preference, native speakers always use the gerund. So this is only flexible with certain verbs. Because of that, to make it easier for you, always use the gerund verb with a verb of preference. So let's practice this. What do you like doing? Like, gerund verb. I like, and then put it in the comments. You need an activity. So share a hobby, use that gerund verb. I like what? I can't wait to find out. Now, of course, you can use other verbs of preference. I enjoy taking pictures of nature. Taking pictures, our gerund. I love playing piano. I adore playing basketball. Don't worry about taking notes because I summarize everything in a free lesson PDF. You can find the link in the description. Now, with your verb of preference, you can also use a noun. I like photography. I like taking photos with the gerund verb, or a noun, I like photography. I enjoy sports. I love music. I adore languages. All of these were the noun form. Now, of course, those are very simple statements. So let's add on to that to make it more complex. I like reading fiction in my free time. I enjoy taking pictures of nature in my leisure time. So you can use free time or leisure time. Both are acceptable. I would say free time is slightly more common. Playing piano is my favorite pastime. So using pastime is an alternative to say hobby. Playing piano is my favorite hobby, activity, pastime. And notice here, I'm using a gerund statement. Playing piano, that's a gerund statement. Playing piano is my favorite pastime. Instead of using the word pastime, you could say, playing piano is my favorite way to pass the time. Pastime, to pass the time. They're the same meaning, just different structures. Now let me share some more advanced C1 phrases that you can add to your vocabulary. You will sound very advanced and professional if you say, I'm an avid cyclist. The structure is to be an avid, and then you need a noun. Cyclist, that is someone who cycles. So that's the noun form. And if you're an avid cyclist, it means you really love cycling. You could say, I'm passionate about photography as the noun, or about taking photos with the gerund verb. And don't forget, you need that verb to be passionate about, noun or gerund. You could say, I spend every chance I get in my garden, or gardening. So here, to spend time in a location, or the activity, which is in the gerund verb. You could say, I recently took up cooking, and now I spend all my free time trying new recipes. The phrasal verb here is to take up. When you take up an activity, it simply means you start that activity. But using the phrasal verb will make you sound very natural, advanced, and professional. Now let's review some natural phrases to help you sound just like a native speaker. I'm really into meditation. I'm really into doing yoga. To be into plus noun, meditation, or gerund, doing yoga. This simply means you really enjoy. I'm really into art. I'm really into painting. You really enjoy these activities. I'm a huge fan of puzzles and playing word games. To be a fan of plus noun or gerund. And you can say, I'm a huge fan, a big fan, so you can modify fan to make it sound stronger. Here's a fun one. I live to surf. I live to go surfing. This sounds very strong. You spend your entire life thinking about or doing the activity. And in this case, you don't use the gerund. To live plus infinitive. I live to surf. But don't get confused with I live to go surfing. Let's talk about that structure. We use the structure to go plus gerund for verbs of movement, like surfing. You could say, whenever I have free time, I always go. So here the verb is go. This is the verb you're conjugating. So it might be she always goes because you need to conjugate it. But then the next verb, if it's a verb of movement, will be in the gerund form. I always go hiking, biking, skiing, dancing, walking, jogging, running, and many other verbs of movement are possible. Another way to sound more advanced when talking about your hobbies is to add an adjective. So let's review some common adjectives. I love reading because I find it very relaxing or calming. Painting is a great way to be creative. So creative is my adjective, and notice this is a gerund expression. Painting is a great way to be creative. I'm into sports because I love being active, or I love being social. I'm passionate about puzzles because I find them very challenging. Spending the afternoon in nature is very enjoyable. So instead of saying I enjoy spending time in nature, you're using enjoyable as the adjective, and your sentence is a gerund statement. So that sounds quite advanced simply by changing the structure. Traveling and learning about the world is very fulfilling. Now you have a lot of vocabulary and grammar to talk about your hobbies, but what about if you want to ask someone about their hobbies? Do you have any hobbies? What are your favorite hobbies? What hobbies do you enjoy? Those are the three most common questions, but let's look at some more advanced C1 questions. What do you enjoy doing in your free time? How do you usually spend your free time? Usually is an adverb of frequency, so that's why we have the present simple here. What's your favorite way to pass the time? And notice that all these questions use vocabulary you previously learned to talk about your hobbies. So you're really using the same vocabulary, but you're forming it in a question. Now let's review some natural ways you can ask someone about their hobbies. What are you into? Remember, you already learned this. I'm really into. Now you're just asking, what are you into? What do you do for fun? So instead of saying as a hobby or in your free time, it's just for fun. What do you do for fun? Do you like sports? This is a really great way because let's say you like sports. That's your passion. That's what you live for. You can just ask the other person, do you like sports? And then even if they say, no, I don't, I prefer, and then they'll tell you what they like instead. So you'll learn about their hobby simply by asking that question. How do you like to unwind? To unwind, this means to relax, to de-stress, because that's why we enjoy hobbies, right? To answer this one, you can use a gerund statement to sound quite advanced. Drawing is my favorite way to unwind. Right now, you might be thinking, but Jennifer, I'm too busy for hobbies. Don't worry, let's talk about some phrases you can use for hypothetical or future hobbies. If I had more free time, I'd love to take up drawing. And now you already know what take up an activity means. I'd love to take up drawing. So this is a hypothetical because you don't have free time. So if someone asks you, what are you into? What do you do for fun? What are your hobbies? You could say, I wish I had time to play basketball. So the person understands that you love basketball, but it's not currently your hobby because you said, I wish I had, which means you don't have it right now. If I weren't so busy at work, I do yoga every day because I live for yoga. But again, it's hypothetical. If I weren't so busy, but you are busy. Or you could say, once I, and then present simple. Once I graduate, once I finish, once I complete. Once I graduate, I'll definitely learn how to salsa. So again, you're sharing that you're passionate about salsa or dance, but right now, you're focused on graduating. So this isn't currently your hobby, but it's a hypothetical future hobby. So these are great phrases to have in your vocabulary. So now you have all the vocabulary and grammar you need to talk about your hobbies. Did you enjoy this lesson? Do you want me to make more lessons like this? If you do, then put let's go, because hobbies are active usually. Let's go, put let's go in the comments. And of course, make sure you like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe so you're notified every time I post a new lesson. And you can get this free speaking guide where I share 6 tips on how to speak English fluently and confidently. You can click here to download it or look for the link in the description. Now you should learn these small talk phrases so you feel confident starting a conversation, so after you can talk about your hobbies. So watch it right now.